What's poppin', y'all? We back with another episode of the Squid Games Aftermath podcast. I am your host, DeAndre, aka Player 288, and I have the privilege of having a very, very special guest in the building, Miss Brooklyn, aka Player 444. What's happening?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
We happy to have you here. Or I'm happy to have you here. Ain't no we. I'm doing everything up in here. So, we gonna jump right into it, Brooklyn. Why did you decide to apply for Squid Games, the challenge?
I didn't even want to. I don't know. I was just really bored one night. I was dog sitting and I didn't bring anything with me except a book because I thought maybe if I only brought a book with me, I would I don't know, get actually read. But I was just so bored. And I saw on Twitter, Mr. Beast posted about Squid Game, the challenge, and I just had nothing else to do. So I filled out the application and sent it. And I didn't think anything of it, Didn't think I'd actually get picked.
She didn't think she was gonna get picked, but little
Mm-mm.
does she know the universe has something else in store because they picked you.
I
And
know.
so, when you get picked and you go out through fill out all the stuff and you find out you're on the show and then it's the night before you leave for London and you're packing your bags, what's going through your head?
I feel like I don't think I fully believed I was going to actually be on the show. I feel like I still was in disbelief. I kept thinking I'm going to get there and I'm going to test positive for COVID. I won't get in. I'm going to there's going to be something that happens and I'm not going to get in. And so I just kept I don't know, I knew I was headed that way, but I just couldn't believe it still. Yeah.
Oh, COVID, huh?
I was that's what I thought was going to happen. I used so much hand sanitizer leading up to leaving for London. Yeah, and luckily I didn't get it, so that was good.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
Mm.
Horrible.
It happened to some.
So, yeah, it did happen to a couple people. So,
Yeah.
that's terrible for them, but they weren't you. And
Nope.
so when you were in the hotel and it's the night before we're about to leave for the first game and they told us, we're going to have an early wake up call. What's going on in your head?
I just felt so excited and I couldn't sleep. Luckily the TV, they took our phones away, so I didn't. Usually I listen to something as I fall asleep. So luckily the TV was a smart TV, and I put on rain noises. But otherwise, I just was so excited. I don't know if there was any actual thoughts in my head. It was just I can't believe I'm about to do this. I was trying to prep, just trying to be mentally aware. I'm here, I've got to be present. But
Hmm.
I was just a lot of thoughts in my head.
Lots of thoughts. Yeah, definitely. Going into the unknown can be crazy, scary,
Yeah.
every kind of emotion. So when we get up out of there and we're headed to the first game, and you get on the bus, what's going on in your head?
It's where are we headed? I felt like we were on that bus for ages. And there was a little clock at the top, and I kept trying to figure out where are we headed, kept looking out the window. I have no idea where we're going. There was these massive buildings I saw in the distance, and then the closer we got to them, I realized that's where we're headed. And then past that, I was looking at everybody on the bus, I just can't believe we're all here, trying to gauge, I don't know, just who all is going to be in there with me.
Yeah, it was crazy. All these random people and strangers, and you don't know
Yeah.
if you could trust them or not. So,
Yeah. And we weren't supposed to talk, so it was just a
yeah,
quiet, long bus ride.
my
But
bus got kind of loud actually for a minute there, but
yeah.
yeah, it was definitely a long ride. So when we get there, we get in the tents, set up and whatnot, and you can see us red light, green light from afar just because of you can see the top of the setup. But when you walk inside the red light, green light arena for the first time, what's going on in your head?
I couldn't believe how far it was to the doll. I have seen the show and I knew it was going to be a long way to it, but it felt way further in person. It just felt like 5 minutes and us stopping and starting. There's no way. I can't imagine getting down there. That's what I was thinking. A 5 minute game. Dang, this is going to be crazy, but it'll be over soon.
Yeah, if only it was a 5 minute game, that would have been crazy in itself. It would have been a lot of panic, I feel like, going around, and
Yeah.
definitely some people would have got trampled in that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could have adjudicated that, but
Yeah, that would have been chaotic. It's almost good that they did it the way they did. I just think there was a little bit of things that could have been better.
yeah,
Yeah.
giving not closing the doors and whatnot, that would have been nice, and giving us some more warming things. But
I
hey,
was just
can't.
thinking more thermals.
Yeah, more thermals. Maybe some earmuffs and a hat.
Yeah. Do you remember they went through the lines and they made everyone give them their hand warmers? And then later on, they went through and they tried to give us like replacement hand warmers because they were like, okay, actually, maybe they do need them. But then at that point, they didn't have enough. It was so chaotic.
Yeah, definitely very chaotic.
Mhm.
So when we get in there, we go through the practice round, and it's time for the real game. What's your strategy going into this?
Um, to be quick and keep it not low because I don't want to stop and be frozen like low, but I kind of thought just like quick, get to my point, you know? And I tried to stop at like right when I needed to stop. There was a lot of people that were stopping like seconds too early every single time and they weren't moving fast enough when they did move. And I was afraid to be that kind of person. Like I just wanted to be quick but stop like immediately when I needed to. And that was my strategy. I don't know. Just listen to the music, focus.
Yeah, you was listening to the music, focusing, and getting your head
Yeah.
in the game. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like
Mhm.
that. So, so when we get in there and we get our first stance, and that's when we stop, and 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. What is
Yeah.
going on in your head?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I could not get my mind to stop. And I was just like thinking of everything. I was like looking all around me. I was looking at the doll, looking into those little houses and all the camera people that were in there. And like looking in those little squares or those rectangles straight ahead of those people looking down at us. And I just feel like I was just trying to remember everything around me, I guess. Like I wanted to focus. I'm not going to move, but I also wanted to, I don't know, just take in this experience. And so I was just trying to like, every time we stopped, I just looked at everything.
Really?
Yeah, which was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had a lot of time to look around, essentially.
yeah. But keep your head straight. Like that was the hard part because I wanted to look at everything, but I would like want to actually move my head, but you couldn't. That was kind of tough.
Yeah. So when you're making your way through the game slowly and whatnot, you got your strategy down and you're moving step by step, song by song, hour by hour, and you see the finish line in sight. What's going on in your head?
I was thinking I am not messing this up. I've been here for so long. I I'm going past this line and I'm making it to the other side because there was so many people that were just like gunning it over and then getting out because they technically the music stopped like a millisecond before they crossed the line and they'd be out. And so I stopped. I stopped like a second or two too soon. The like right at the line because I was like I'm not even gonna risk it. Like I'm just so when I finally did cross the line, I had one step over because I just wanted to be safe. Like I am not going through all this and not making it. So I stopped right at the line, and that was when that like kind of like massacre is what they said. When I crossed over, they sped up the song, and so a lot of people ran in and then ended up getting out, which was crazy. And it made me feel so relieved that I was so calm and collected about it, you know. But
Yeah, definitely. I still need to see that. I've been saying release the tapes, Netflix, every single episode of this podcast, and I need them to release the tapes, at least that tape. Out of this tape, like
yes.
keep what you want to keep. I've heard a lot of things, but that is the one thing that I need to see to believe because I have not seen it. You got to see it, so it's
Dude,
like
I was in there. There was like 4 or 5 of us that were fine, but like it was just all collective, just pop, 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 pop all around us, and everyone's like groaning, and they're all like people starting to cry because like their ink. And I unzipped my jacket and I just looked down at my shirt really fast because I was like, shoot, like am I gone? And I just remember like patting and being like safe and then kind of be awkward, like, oh yeah, sorry, like I'll see you guys later. Like it was so.
Did you recognize anyone in that line?
No, not really, actually. But I started to talk to 2 girls because there was like 10 or 15 minutes past before they popped everybody. So a lot of us were like being friendly and talking, and yeah, 2 girls that I had just started like having like a full blown conversation with for a good amount of time just popped right in front of me. That was intense. I felt so bad.
Oh my gosh, that would be just awkward.
It was. They just left. I didn't know what to say.
See you guys never.
Yeah.
Well, we move, and soon the song starts again, and player 444 slowly, carefully, gently walks over that line, and she is safe. Congratulations, you made it past the first game. Okay, we still in here for the money. So we soon leave and then go to the dorm or go to the hotel, then come back, and we're finally about to enter the dorms. So what's your when you first walk into the dorms, what are you thinking?
I just can't believe that they created the set to look so much like the show. like I don't know, it was just insane. It was just, we were completely engulfed in it. Like the beds went so high up. I just like ran in there and I was just taking everything in, like going to the bathrooms to see what they looked like, what the showers looked like, you know. I had to see the whole situation, and then checking out all the rooms that were like those two, or that like little kind of room that kind of came out with the mirrors on it, you know, and just checking everything out. Like I just couldn't believe that we were there. And then once we got in there, we had to like wait for all the other groups to come in, and I don't know, it's just wild. It was such a cool experience and feeling.
So when you get in there, are you thinking like, I want to talk to everybody, I want to have a small group of people, and who do you end up getting close with?
I wanted to talk to everybody. Like I don't know. I maybe I should have taken alliances more seriously, but I was like, it's kind of too soon right now. Everything's up to chance, you know. Just, I mean, make friends, enjoy where you're at, because a lot of people had alliances and then they 2 challenges later they were all gone. You know, like you really just got to enjoy it while you're there. And so yeah, and the people I ended up being close with were the people closest to my number. I feel like, you know, Chapman, Tom, Adam, Philip, you know, and then you. But you were 288, so you were kind of.
Y'all left me out to dry outside the group, man. Y'all had this little circle, and I just had to come in when I could fit in sometimes.
Oh, we did split up sometimes. We regrouped every now and again, but
I saw y'all together a lot. What you mean?
yeah, maybe a little too much.
Because whenever I saw Chapman, I saw you, and then I saw Tom, and I was like, okay, this is like the little trio, and then they got a couple other people with them, and Adam and whatnot. So, but you know, we made friends in the line waiting to go into red light, green light. Like you were directly across from me, and then I think I met Chapman first because we were waiting for the bathroom together. So we can get the bathroom, and then I commented on like his hair, and then he said he was from Missouri, and then he's like, "There's another girl from Missouri," and I was like, "What?"
Yes.
So, then I was, you know, walking across and talking to y'all for a bit, got to chit chat and whatnot, and I was excited and elated to see that y'all both made it. So
yeah,
it was like, okay, I didn't think anyone from Missouri was going to be in there. I was like, there's a lot of people, but it was shocking, and I'm glad we got to hang out pretty often in the dorms. So
yeah, I'm really happy. I'm like so grateful that so many of us made it too. Like I remember in like red light, green light, I remember seeing you pass the line, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm so happy that you made it. Like now I gotta make it, you know.
yeah,
it was so great.
Yeah, I also want to see everyone that cross the line, like just to see our reactions. Like I was looking forward to that the most because it was my one shining moment in the dang show, was just crossing. And they didn't really show too many people pass, and they didn't show too many people's reactions, like immediate reactions. You know, I remember immediately when I crossed, I was hugging player 65, and we had this like great moment, and I was like getting emotional a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you've been through such a long day. It was so like just, I mean, mentally and physically draining. Like passing that line was so exhilarating, you know, and it just felt like freedom. Like you just did all of that and it was worth it, you know, like it just felt so good. I wish they would have showed more, but
definitely release the tapes.
Yes.
Soon we find out, so sometimes passes, and we find out that player 200 has been eliminated. So what's your reaction to this?
I didn't know him. I don't know. I didn't talk to him at all. I feel like at that point I still hadn't talked to that many people. So when they said his number, I didn't know who he was. And a lot of people, I feel like wherever your bed was, you naturally associated with the people around your bed. And he was on the other side of the room. And I hadn't ventured that far yet. So I just didn't really know him. But it was shocking. I remember everybody kind of speculating who did it. You know, we all thought it was somebody that did the chores, you know, had to have been, we felt like, or if they did their MIV maybe. But otherwise, like, I felt fine. Like, I didn't cause any drama with anybody. It was too soon. I felt like everybody was good.
It was definitely too soon. I wasn't a fan of the way he went out. It was definitely disheartening because I had a long conversation with him that day, and he's a great dude, Mothi. So I have some thoughts that you know will come out in behind a paywall soon, because I'm not unfiltering those thoughts on just regular stuff. Or maybe when I get my YouTube like membership thing or whatever. But when that comes. But that's not always away. But yes, I have some thoughts about all the kind of the vote out eliminations and whatnot, and how those went down, because it's just very interesting.
They're all heavy.
Yes, exactly. But we move on and we have to say goodbye, and it's time to go to the second game. And we first walk into this white room and see 4 lines. What's going on in your head?
I feel like everybody knew it was going to be cookies next. You know, when it was the 4 lines, I think everybody immediately knew like the shapes. You know, and then past that, we were like, which line do you think it's going to be? And I got into line 2, luckily, which ended up being, well, luckily, I still got out. That's a spoiler, but you know, but it was triangle. It was a good line, you know, next to circle. So I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, I thought I was number 444, which is like angel number for protection. You know, this whole time everybody was like, your number is so good, and I just like, I didn't know anything about angel numbers before, but I was starting to believe it. Like, I am good. I am so confident. This is so good. And then I was in the back of the line, and while we're waiting to start, it's like jumping forward a bit, but like when I knew I was going to be like, I don't know, it was going to be like triangle. But Joel told me, he's from Korea, and he said that number 4 is like a really unlucky number. And so I didn't know that in Korea, that it's a super unlucky number. And he said that he wouldn't want my number because there's 3 4s on me. And then it got in my head like, oh my God, now I'm unlucky. And so then I was thinking about that, like, shoot, I don't know, I shouldn't have been thinking like that, but
I would have, if I was 444, I would have jumped in the 4th line too. Like, I don't think, honestly, you would have anyone's number in there unless it was number 4 or 44.
I know.
Which I don't think they were in there. They didn't make it past red light, green light. Then they would have picked that number too, you know? So
I know. Yeah, I was close to it. Luckily, I just did 2 because I thought half of 4. So I just got in the second line. But still, I was just thinking how unlucky I am. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, I did 8 divided by 2 is 4, so that's what line I'm going into.
Wow,
it was 288. So I mean, I just jumped in a line. I didn't really think about it, but
yeah.
So soon we find out that the first 4 players must pick a shape, and they have, you know, that will determine what your whole line gets. And so we get the first line going in there. They can't agree on anything. Boom, they're out. Second line goes in there. Boom, they can't get anything agreed. Out. Third line gets in there. And ultimately, you know, you see what goes down, and you're stuck with umbrella. Tell me what you were going through when you were seeing this go down.
Well, I was stuck in triangle, but
you were triangle. I'm tripping.
You were triangle. I know.
I'm tripping. I don't know why I keep thinking you were umbrella for some reason. But
I wish I was umbrella almost.
Tell me how you thinking. What you thinking when you see all this stuff go down?
When everything goes down, I mean, the whole room is going nuts. Like, everybody's freaking out. So triangles and circles, we all are like hugging and so excited. We're like feeling like we're gonna get through. Like, this is gonna be fine. And then like the, you know, stars are not being so happy, and umbrellas are like not talking to anybody. Like, it was just like really intense in that room. But I don't know. I felt so confident. I thought I was gonna get through. I was like, this is me and my angel number. I'm getting through this. Like, I got a triangle. I'm in. But
you were in. Yeah. So I ask everyone this question. Do you think that, because there's very different opinions from circle and umbrella lines, but do you think it's going in there and saying, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the line order we need to do, and that's it, because that's the most fair way to do it? Is that the most fair way to do it to you?
No, I wish that they wouldn't even have them up on the wall like that. I hated that, because I feel like when they had the shapes on the wall, that's what everybody naturally wanted to do. It was easier to be like the 4th line, you got to be umbrella, you know, because it's easy. You got to blame somebody. You got to shove somebody over there. So it makes sense why the groups were so focused on that. But if the shapes weren't on the wall at all, then it would have been more of a discussion. And I think that would have been better TV, personally, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, picking a random wall, that definitely adds a lot of suspense. And maybe, look, I understand why they did what they did. You got to make decisions in groups and whatnot. But every other game, essentially, except for like green light, of course, you pretty much had to select a leader of sorts. In Battleship, you had to select a leader. In Marbles, it was 2 on 2. So, you know, you got to agree. But you have so much time to agree. You have a green room for hours. You're in a green room for 4 hours before you go and do marbles, and then they give you the time to explain in marbles. So you have so much time. You select a leader in essentially like the other little mini games to a point. Like, people get up there and do the thing. So everything essentially has a leader, and not circle, of course, not the circle of trust. But That's the only thing is like I wish they would have said, okay, all you four up in here, pick a person that's in charge or a leader. That would have caused for good because people would have been fighting who's the leader and whatnot. And then, then we don't know the twist yet. And then they announce the leaders deciding the line order. Just because like you eliminate people in that way is just, I mean, I'm a victim of it. So I'm very strongly opinionated on it. Like, that would have been fine in my opinion, but I get why they did what they did. It was fine as well. And the whole not playing a game thing, they edited out. I was kind of disappointed they didn't show that either. But and then the whole conversation, I wish they showed the whole 2 minutes for the first group and the whole 2 minutes second group. It's 2 minutes. It's not 5 minutes or anything like that. It's 2 minutes. And what we saw on the screen was pretty dope. I thought they were going to show that was going to, that's when we got a first taste of what the show was going to look like. Even though we didn't, it doesn't really look like that too much. I liked how they had it on the screen. I really liked
how it like panned over and it just looks so cinematic.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what red light, green light's gonna look like. That's gonna be lit, but it didn't look like that at all.
No, no, and everything was so quick,
Yeah, it was so quick, and so so you end up getting triangle, and you get in there. How are you feeling so far when you're about to, unlock this triangle and then you get started?
I feel like, okay, so there was another girl in our group who was really upset, and I think she thought she was going to go home. And so I feel like a lot of me was like telling her, like, you're fine, you're going to get through this. Like, I don't know why I was so focused on her. I really should have like focused on what I was feeling, I don't know. Like, I feel like I just was so focused on her that when I got in there, I was just like getting straight into it. But, like I really should have like kind of like sat back and, evaluated, I guess.
So you think you rushed a little bit?
I think I did. I think I went in there too confident, honestly, because I thought triangle, I was like, I think I can get through this, And I was so close. I was so painfully close. It like hurts. But I got, when it started, like, did we get 5 minutes or was it 10? 10. See, and like, I got two sides clean off at the 5 minute mark. And so then I was like, I only have one side. So I took a deep breath and I like started on the bottom corner and then I was on the middle. And right when I was like scratching the middle, the whole side popped off and it took the top little corner off with it. Like just a small little corner came off with the triangle. Otherwise it was so clean. It was so tough, but what can you do?
No.
Being so close.
That's tough. I mean, you had it right in your hands and then just like a little misstep, and then that's what happened. And that's unfortunately where our player 444 journey ends. Too soon, because I know you would have went a long, long, long ways.
Thank you.
I know you would have. It was ridiculous because you wouldn't have got voted out. You wouldn't have, been on nobody's radar per se. So that whole thing, you were fine. And then, they had the girls thing at the end, so that would have been fine. And then the glass bridge is glass bridge, and I could see it. Nice smooth sailing path for you to the end because you're nice with everybody too. So
well, thank you.
It was I definitely had like when I got out, I'm like, oh, she's gonna go make it far. Like I thought for sure. Like, but marbles, I don't know how your marble skills are.
That's what. Okay, no, I'm really good at throwing, so I feel like maybe I could get through marbles. I think if I would have got through cookies, Dalgona, I think I would have got decently far. Because I feel like I think people underestimate me, and I think I would have got somewhere cool, but whatever. The cookie took me out. But
so when you get eliminated on cookie and you get back to the hotel, how are you feeling?
I don't know. I think half of me, they didn't give us chapstick up until this point, and I am such an avid chapstick user. Like, so I was just ready to get chapstick immediately, and I don't know. Half of me, I had to quarantine for 5 days before I went in. So I was already like tired, and then half of me, I feel like half of me was relieved because I think I was ready for real food in my bed, and then the other half of me was really like disappointed. Like I wanted to stay, but just had to accept it.
Yeah, no, and then that's it. So when we got to talk a little bit at the hotel too, so that was you helped me like I was upset, and so you helped me like get through things, and so I appreciate you a lot for that, definitely.
I was so happy to see you there.
I was sad to see you. I was like happy and sad to see you at the same time. I was like,
that's I remember. You like smiled really big, and then you were like, "Oh," I'm like, man, it was tough.
Because I was waiting. We had to wait so long for the first group of people to come back at the hotel. Like I had a whole meal. I took a nap. I took a shower. I was talking with the other people a little bit. So it was just like, who's coming next? And then you guys came late because you're the last group, of course. But Yeah, it was just one bus coming back. Yeah. So when you get back home from
Mhm.
London, how are you feeling now?
Um, I felt I don't know. I felt awful. I think honestly, I did not feel good. I think it was just because I think up until that point, I didn't realize I could be a part of something so massive and so I don't know. Like it didn't feel like I could ever be on a TV show that ginormous or even at all. And then I was, and then coming back home to like absolutely nothing, it was tough. You know, it just was insane to go on that big wild ride and come back to the same thing I was in before. I don't know. This made me want to go do everything. I booked a trip, I feel like not too long after, just because I needed to do something.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're hypersensitized to, always this communication and things happening and whatnot, and then it's kind of
Yeah.
just this big crash, and you feel like, oh, my life is boring.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like all that adrenaline in the show. And then I come home and there's nothing really that exciting, Like I need excitement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. So, is there
Mhm.
anything from the show that you could like take away that you took away and could use or essentially?
I feel like for me, I took from the show, like, I just feel like I'm a lot more confident, I guess. I think just like something I've kind of grown from it. Like, I feel like before I never traveled by myself. And then all of a sudden I went all the way to London and I was able to get there. And I just never thought I could do that before. And now I've been on like 2 solo trips, I'm about to go on a third. Like, some, I don't know, just like more confident in myself. And then the fact that I could do something like that and they chose me to be in something like that, like, I just feel like that's awesome. Like I feel so good about myself because of my experience. And I'm so grateful for all of it.
Well, that's excellent. It's important that you can take away something from it because you don't win everything, but
Yeah.
you can win something off everything if you give yourself the opportunity to and have the right mindset. So definitely that's good. I love that you were able to kind of bring that as your own kind of mini trophy and
Yeah.
use that. Because I know I got a lot away from the show, even though not being, I mean, being on the show, it was great and sad at the same time because I didn't win the money, of course, and get it super
Mm-hmm.
far. But the stuff that I got from it, I couldn't have even imagined. If you told me before on the show like what I was gonna get from it, I probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have believed somebody to saying that. So
Yeah, absolutely. It was like such a experience to grow from. Like it's just so cool. All the opportunities that have came since.
yeah,
Especially for you.
100%.
I love seeing everything you've been up to.
I'm trying out here. I try it out here, and
Mhm.
this show kind of personally gave me, I guess,
Mhm.
confidence to do like social media posts on started TikTok and started YouTube and
Yeah.
put myself out there more and even obviously do this podcast because I wasn't doing that beforehand. I was kind of like I'm an actor, so it's like that was my quote unquote claim to fame essentially,
Mhm.
and the show helped me see and meet all these people that were doing their own thing, with 337 Brad having his own company and doing this, and then Steven
Mhm.
doing his own thing there, and just other people doing cool things on their own and they created and they have. And I never really met like YouTubers or influencers in real life because online they can seem like they don't seem real. They just seem just there and like fake from
Mhm.
afar. But meeting these people and kind of seeing like, oh, this is like legit, then that was like, well, it's
Yeah.
possible.
And
So
they're like everyday people. Like when we were in the dorms, like girls couldn't have hair products or makeup on. And so I just felt so even with everybody. And then coming out and seeing that this girl was like a model, or some people are like actresses or just like what they're doing in their day to day. I never would have thought, because when we were in there, I just felt so equal to them. Like, and I
yeah,
think that was the coolest part.
yeah, no, 100%. It was definitely
Hmm.
learned a lot of learns and you know taken away a lot from it. So I'd say,
Yeah.
well, Brooklyn, it was great having you on the podcast finally. I know
Yeah.
it took a minute to get around to it, but I was gonna make sure it happened because you are one of my main peoples from the show, if people don't know. And yeah, I really appreciate you being here, taking some time out of your day to come on the podcast and give your view on everything and your perspective because everyone's matters. And
Mhm.
so, before we get out of here, do you have any last words for the peoples?
Uh, I hope you guys all have a good day.
That's it.
I don't know what else to say. You'll sleep really good. I hope you guys have good dinners.
Okay. Okay, well, look, everyone eat well is what she trying to say. Okay,
Yeah,
everyone stay blessed out there. But
yeah.
y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in again. This is DeAndre signing out. Peace and blessings, and I hope y'all have a great rest of the day.